It is April 13th. It is day 84 of Trump's presidency. It's a Sunday. Snacks is here. Everything's just fine, right? Okay, let's get to it. Trump's health report seems very fishy to me. They were smart enough to include like a couple little blips, but overall it's got some like really weird shifts and numbers. So they are claiming that his cholesterol, his LDL, has gone from 143 in 2018 down to 51 this year. Despite the fact that according to the Fulton County jail records, he has gained 9 pounds in the last year. He is now weighing in at, what did they say? 224 and 6'3". Also seems suspicious to me. He doesn't look 224 to me. 224 at 6'3" is like pretty healthy. And that's just not what my eyeballs are seeing. Do you know what I mean? Anyways, they are going to be doing a follow-up colonoscopy. He has diverticulitis and a bunch of polyps. Again, that's the bare minimum that they need to say for me to be able to believe any of this. He also has significant sun damage on his skin. Okay, duh. Yeah, I can't imagine that man wears any sunscreen. Anyways, that's what's up with that. I also, we continuously hear reports that he's not really 6'3" and he wears lifts. So I am also skeptical about whether or not that's his real height. Honestly, I don't really care. You know what I mean? Like, I only care, what I care about is the day the headline drops. I'll be there. Let's put it that way. I'll be there. I'll be fully locked in and focused on what's happening. All right, moving on. So, arsonists they did set Josh Shapiro's house on fire. So Josh Shapiro, is he a governor? He ran for president, or he ran in the primary. No, there wasn't primaries. What the hell did he do? Am I losing my mind? You know what I'm talking about. He was, gosh darn it. How could he have run in the primaries? We didn't have primaries this time. But I swear to God, he somehow ran for president. Anyways, I'm going crazy. Long story short, he lives in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. I believe he is like the governor of Pennsylvania. Anyways, his family and him were asleep inside, and this happened at 2 a.m. There were no injuries. There's pretty significant damage to his property, and like they're basically like sure that this was purposeful, and they're calling it an attempted assassination. So that's pretty scary. Obviously, it is very dangerous for anyone politically, honestly, on either side of the aisle, to be involved in anything right now. I don't blame them for being scared when they are, especially when they're receiving death threats from their own party. Super scary. And I'm referring to like the Republicans that said that they were receiving death threats from other Republicans. Sorry for their loss, but hopefully, the loss of the home, the damage that was done to their home, hopefully they can get that repaired quickly. But more importantly, I hope that they're able to figure out a situation that's a little safer for them, because I can't imagine having to put my family through that crap. Sadly, Russia attacked Sumy, Kiev again, and they killed 34 people and injured 117. This is amidst the ongoing peace talks with Trump, that Russia is essentially just ignoring, and it does make Trump continuously look weak, because he is. Russia is still one of the only countries that has no tariffs. That's not suspicious at all. Anyways, absolutely insane. And, they're not going to stop. Obviously, the wars that are currently happening are really unjust and sad. And I didn't even write this down because I was like, you know what? I am so tired of reporting this shit, but you should know that, unfortunately, Israel has bombed another hospital in Gaza. So obviously they were forced to evacuate. Just absolutely tragic over there. And obviously here they are really, really cranking down on what you can legally say about that situation, which is very disturbing. Thousands, literally 36,000 people, well, an estimated 36,000 people, attended the Fight Oligarchy rally in LA over the weekend with AOC and Bernie Sanders. I think the message is essentially, let's get the oligarchy out of our government. Trump is moving the country towards authoritarianism. I mean, we're pretty much already here. And I will always be sad that Bernie didn't get a chance to, he has bent over backwards and done everything he possibly could in his lifetime, but he will never get a chance to truly lead the way that he should have. When he dies, expect me to be inconsolable. He is just really special to me. It's so rare to see somebody with so much empathy and integrity that devoted their entire life basically thanklessly to this honestly kind of gruesome work that people talk shit about endlessly, even though we have to have people in charge leading. And I personally kind of fault all of us because, the people that have high levels of empathy don't want to get their hands dirty in politics. And because of that, who do we have in office? A bunch of fucking psychopaths. And here we are. Because people said, well, somebody else will do it. And I get it, Now that I'm 44 years old, I totally understand why people don't want to deal with this. I would love to. I actually looked into running for something last year. It's so expensive. And you kind of need, it's not that you just need financial backing. You also kind of need a lot of support because, for instance, it takes up an extraordinary amount of your time and I can't afford to quit my job. So it's really politics in this country, for the most part, is very much being gatekept financially. You have to have money to do it. That needs to change. Will it change in my lifetime? I sure hope so. Okay, this story is absolutely bananas. I'm going to try to read a little bit more about the Order of Nine Angles, and we'll get into that in a second. There is a 17-year-old boy named Nikita Kasap who he's being held in custody for killing his 35-year-old mother and his 51-year-old stepfather in an attempt to gain access to their money and then also to rid himself of anybody that would stop him from assassinating Trump. Okay, here's where this gets really confusing, and I'm very confused. So he was a part of a new Nazi. I don't know what that means. New Nazi. Maybe someone else does. Again, I need to look into this a little deeper. Organization, if you could call it that, cult, called the Order of Nine Angles. They believe that President Trump needs to be assassinated in order to save the white race. Wow, that's interesting. That's all I have for you. I don't have, and what I want is to understand, I think the word logic is probably stretching it, but I'd like to understand what they're telling the people that belong to this organization. Why does he need to be assassinated? Where did they come up with this? Really strange. Almost kind of the opposite of what I would think. There's a lot of information about Hitler quotes that are listed on their site and stuff. So that's another thing. It's like, okay, but Trump is super supportive of all of that. So what? Why does he need to be assassinated? I mean, anyways, as I said, it's an incredibly dangerous time for people that are in the public eye that are involved in politics right now, because there are people left and right being triggered into a form of psychosis, mania. I mean, call it whatever you want. But these people are not well. And there sure is a lot of them. And it seems like there's more every day. So, in any case, he is in custody. But that organization still exists. I would assume that what just happened is going to, like, draw some attention to that organization. Because if anything, they've been, like, loosening restrictions on white supremacy, obviously, very purposely. But this boy, because that's what he was in possession of, or I guess he had paid for, explosives and a drone, and there was like a whole plan, and they were like walking him through this. Crazy stuff. I'm sure you're going to be hearing a lot more about that because it's a pretty sensational situation, obviously. Wow. I am so, I just had this thought, total conspiracy theory on my part. But the CIA is known for doing some really weird stuff to people. And I just had a brief thought, like, that the CIA had, like, brainwashed him into doing that. I mean, again, I've heard a lot of jokes on TikTok about, like, why the CIA hasn't done anything about some of this stuff, especially since the Trump administration is going after the FBI and the Pentagon and the CIA, all these organizations. So, anyway. That's why I tell you every day, anything could happen today and every day. It's all up in the air. Never get too sad. Never get too happy. Just try to flow, because it's going to change. It's going to spin on a dime for quite some time. This is a very chaotic period of time. Don't get comfortable. This is really sad. Law firms are taking on a lot less DEI cases or anything that falls under the category of something that Trump would disapprove of, because Trump has been targeting law firms. So typically law firms do some percentage of pro bono cases, and that's just not really happening under these particular categories. And this is where the question always is, will people comply? And so far the answer has been the majority of organizations in this country are complying ahead of time, which is, is that from that book on authoritarianism? I don't know. I have it. I need to read it. I haven't read it yet. But they talk about, like, not complying in advance during an authoritarian regime. And it's a lot harder than people, than they're making it out to be by just simply saying that. I think we need to recognize what is at stake. And I'm not making an excuse for any of these companies or any of these people. But as you can see, sticking your neck out can sometimes get your head chopped off. And I think a lot of people understand that. And they're hedging their bets and they're trying to survive. And I think I just don't hate anyone for that, even though I do view it as weak. It is cowardly. I mean, let's call a spade a spade. It's cowardly. But I get it. I do. Especially for people with kids, you know what I mean? Again, I won't go to protests. I think it's beautiful that 36,000 people were willing to go out and do that. I absolutely love them for it. Although they're in LA. I'm in a purple state. It's not really safe here. There's maybe one city that I would consider safe, which is the city I grew up in. Anywhere else. And honestly, I heard from a good friend that even in that city, people were, like, throwing things at protesters. They were flipping them off and swearing at them and screaming. And that's, like, a very liberal city. So I just don't trust that people won't go out looking for trouble, but I appreciate that people are stepping out and doing this. This is such a mess. We are for sure in a constitutional crisis. I mean, we have been, but it's getting worse. Okay. So the Kimar, is it Kilmar or Kimar? Damn it. I wrote it down, but I wrote Kimar and I feel like his name is Kilmar. Mr. Garcia, the father from Maryland. And I believe his middle name is Abrigio. I'm fucking destroying his name and I'm so sorry. Anyways, the Trump administration is confirming that he's alive, and then saying that El Salvador's leader will determine what happens to him. So understand that all 9 justices of the Supreme Court have ordered him back here, and that they're not doing it. Again, now we're really at the place of now what? And Trump has said that he would comply with the Supreme Court orders, but it's not happening. So it's going to be a week. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be a big week because I don't know. I don't know what happens next. We're going to see something or nothing, maybe nothing, you know, like that's even worse. If there's no follow-up on that, then the Supreme Court might as well not exist. If we're not going to comply with laws, why do we have laws anymore? Seriously. So there is a huge lawsuit that begins this week. The Federal Trade Commission is it's the start of their antitrust lawsuit against Meta. They did a 6-year investigation into whether or not Meta broke anti-competition laws by acquiring Instagram and WhatsApp. This is going to be a really big deal. It could lead to a breakup of those companies, and that would really affect. Meta makes a shitload of money. It's $1.4 trillion from their ad business, and it would really complicate that. It would complicate that significantly. Yeah. I don't think that Facebook is doing very well. Like Facebook, unless they're fudging the numbers, which is totally possible. I'm sure a lot of companies do that, but Facebook is kind of losing its steam and it's like mostly boomers now, which is not, I don't know. Maybe that is some companies probably do want to advertise directly to boomers, but if you want like a wider range, it's probably not a great option. Okay. The last headline for tonight is just me reiterating, and then we'll talk about the details, that when it comes to the trade war, you cannot believe from day to day that anything is going to stay the same. Okay? Yesterday, there was this huge announcement that there is going to be basically that smartphones and computers from China are not going to be included in the trade war, okay? So everyone's like, oh my God, and tech companies' stocks are like probably going up, and everyone's like, oh, thank God, that's so great. It's so good to hear that, like, that's huge because like that's maybe their main export, right? And then today, they can't get their story straight. Today, Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick came out and said, yeah, actually, this is just like a temporary thing because those products are going to be included under in separate levies under the semiconductor tariffs that are coming in about a month. So, again, like, I feel like, there was a lot of chatter on the streets about how Trump is weak and he's flip-flapping all over the place like a dead fish or a dying fish. And China is just holding strong and cranking down a little harder each time. And China has made it really clear, like, we are not going to acquiesce in any way, shape, or form because that will convey weakness. And we believe that this is blackmail, so we're not giving you an inch. You will either negotiate with us directly and stop this shit, or we're going to keep making it worse for you. And, you know, Trump is... It's not just that Trump is insane. It's that his administration is all over the place. It's full of alpha males that all think that they're right. And it sure looks like they're constantly arguing over what the correct course of action is, because one day it's one thing and the next day it's something else. And it does make us look absolutely batshit insane. All it's doing is making the United States seem incredibly unreliable financially, and it's tanking the dollar, and it's, I don't know. Anyways, we'll see what happens. Yeah, I have a feeling that this week is going to be, I mean, doesn't take a psychic to say this. I just have a feeling that this week, in particular with Mr. Garcia's case, is going to be really consequential. And I also think that what happens with the tariff war this week will be very interesting. Again, if he keeps flip-flopping back and forth and all over the place, a part of me thinks it may make it more likely for the people around him to try to step in and like rein all of this in. But I just feel like there's too many cooks in the kitchen. That's just my own like gut feeling. That there's a bunch of people trying to take advantage and control the situation, and that's why it looks like what they're doing makes absolutely no fucking sense on the surface. But anyways, it's making Trump look like an idiot. It's making the United States look like it's falling apart. And I guess it is. Anyways, I have some chicken wings in the oven I need to go tend to. I'm starving. It's dinner time on Sunday, which means it's like 5 o'clock. I get hungry early on Sundays like an old grandma, and I do not feel bad about it. I hope you guys had a nice, relaxing weekend. I hope that you all get some rest tonight. I'm trying to think if I have any good. There's a new show on Apple TV, if you have it, that I really like called, dang it, something with the word friends in it, and it's got John Hamm in it. I don't know. Some of you might like it and some of you might not, but if you need distraction, there's a lot of it out there. Just make sure it's not the kind of distraction that hurts you. You know what I'm saying? Pick something benign, like a TV show. Anyways, love you guys. See you tomorrow.